In this video, we are going to complete step 9 of the 9 steps to completing the technical brief part 1 through 3. The first thing that we're going to do is go to the Spring ISD website. To access the PBL2 document, we scroll to Empowered Learning at Home, and then we select 6th grade. From here, we're going to click on the Erase Food Waste link that brings up the PBL2 document. We're going to scroll down so that we can access the part where we left off after steps 1 through 8. So we watched this video here. We answered these 2 questions. We read these 3 articles and highlighted the main ideas and the problems and solutions. We answered these 4 questions here. We watched this video, we read this article, and then we watched these 3 Shark Tank videos. And now we are on step 9, where we complete parts 1 through 3 of the technical brief. And so in order to do this, we need to open this document up. We're going to click on the hyperlink and select the link that pops up. It's going to prompt us to make a copy, so we click make a copy. Once our copy opens up, we're going to make it our own. We're going to erase copy of and replace it with WMS for Wells Middle School. At the end of the title of the assignment, we are going to add our name to make it our own. We are going to then click on the blue share button to share it with our teacher by typing in her email address. We have to make sure that the icon is a pencil. This allows our teacher to actually edit our document. Once we click send, that will share it with her so that she's able to access and grade it. All right, now you'll notice on the technical brief parts 1 through 3 document, there's a space for you to add your name. So I want you to go ahead and type your name onto the document itself. And then we're going to review the 3 parts that we have to complete. So part 1 says, briefly describe your solution and how it solves the problem or challenge you identified. Part 2 says, describe the mathematics, science, and engineering you researched to design your product, business, service. Include the links to websites or other resources you used. And part 3 says, describe the decisions you made to choose your design and the challenges you had to overcome. So, in starting with part 1, we have to talk about the challenges and the solutions, right? So in all the research that we did on steps 1 through 8, when we were going through and answering the questions and reading all of the articles, this is all the work that we did previously, right? We learned about different challenges in the food waste, associated with food waste. So this is where you label the challenge that you want to address with your solution. So while I was doing it, I learned about the food waste, or I guess the food waste that stuck out the most to me was the food waste that happens in restaurants. There's a challenge there. So restaurants, not only do they serve huge portions to people that people can't finish and end up throwing away themselves, but restaurants also throw away the food that they can't serve at the end of the day. So they waste food in 2 different ways. So I'm going to write down those 2 challenges first. So food waste challenge 1. And you don't have to necessarily have more than 1 challenge. I just have more than 1 challenge because that's what stuck out to me when I was thinking about it. So food waste challenge 1. Restaurants waste food by serving larger than average food portions that customers don't finish, and they throw I'll put the unfinished food away. Okay. Food waste challenge 2. Restaurants waste food by throwing out the food they are unable to sell at the end of each day. So those are the two ways that restaurants waste food. Now, let's talk about my solutions. What do I want to do to help this? So I have a few solutions. So solution 1, okay. Require restaurants to use a portion plate when serving food to customers to prevent the portion sizes from being too much for customers to finish. Okay, so that's my first thing. They have to use a portion plate, and I'll show you what that looks like when I get down to my second part. Okay, my second solution. Solution 2. And these kind of all work together, okay? Offer 2 portion sizes for each meal that the restaurant serves and provide a discount to customers who choose the smaller portion size. Yeah. So this is like, I don't know if you remember when McDonald's had like supersize me. You could pay extra to get a bigger meal. For this is like the opposite of that idea. With this idea, you pay less to get a smaller portion meal. And so that's kind of the idea, right? A lot of people like to eat out, but they still like to save money. So this allows you to eat less when you eat out, and so you pay less for it, and you also don't waste food. And then solution number 3, raise awareness for food waste by encouraging customers to post pictures of their food at the restaurant post pictures of their food at the restaurant on their social media pages with the hashtag eat less, waste less. So here I have these 2 challenges that are associated with restaurants, right? Food waste. And then I have 3 solutions. So 1, we're going to ask them to use a portion plate when serving food. So this means that they cook less food during the day and they throw away less food when the shop closes, when the restaurant closes, right? We also give people a discount for eating or buying less food, which means they waste less. So we're trying to give them an incentive, right? You get like a bit of a reward for doing this because you get a discount on your food. And 3, we want to raise awareness. We want other people to know this is an option. So we're going to have this hashtag where they can do, they can post their food and with the hashtag, and so other people will see it, and then they will be encouraged to do the same thing. All right, now part 2. It says, describe the mathematics, science, and engineering you research to design your product, business, or service. Include links to websites or other resources you used. So this one's kind of tricky. There's no right or wrong answer. So when I was thinking about my solutions, I had to think about a few things. The first thing I had to think about was the portion control. So for the portion control plate idea, I used this link, and I'll show you right now. I just went on to Google and I searched portion control plate, and a few options come up. So I was thinking that restaurants can use something like this when they're putting the plate onto, or putting the food onto the plate for their customers. So this way they get small enough portions and it's not more than the customer can actually eat. So this was the first idea, or the first piece of research that I did. So I went ahead and put this picture on my brief. I don't need it to be too big because you get the idea. Okay. And I'll just go ahead and put the link right here. It says I can visit. This is the link. So I'll add this link, copy and paste it from the web browser, copy, and I'll add it in here. So there's the link that I'm using for this idea. For the hashtag, so that was the first thing. For the discount, so discounts a little bit, it's going to vary depending on the price of the meal. But I was thinking you can just get a 10% discount, overall 10% discount. So let me just, right. So the idea was an incentive discount for purchasing for purchasing the smaller portion meal option. So they'll get 10% off the total price. So this is going to depend on how much the meal costs. For example, if the meal is, meal equals $10, okay? And the discount equals 10%. 10% of $10 is $1. So 10% of $10 equals $1. So that means they'll get $1 off of their meal. Okay, so that means that they will pay $9 for a meal. So $10 minus $1 equals $9. So a customer who chooses smaller portion meal will pay $9, and the customer who chooses regular portion meal will pay $10. So it's always nice to be able to save money when you eat out, right? And so that's the idea. People will want to save money, so they'll choose, and they'll want to not waste food. So that's also, right, you get to kind of do two good things and save money doing both. Okay. And then the other thing was my hashtag. So there's not really any research or anything. I mean, I just kind of wrote down all of the social media platforms. So for example, there's Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. So you can use the hashtag all allow hashtags. So customers will be able to use the eat less, waste less hashtag on each or all. And so that's kind of what it looks like for part 2 of the brief, right? I put my link here for the product that the restaurants will use when plating. I put my math here for how the discount can work. Obviously, that's going to change, right, depending on how much the meal will cost. And then I put the different social media platforms where they can use a hashtag. All right, and then part 3 says, describe the decisions you made to choose your design and the challenges you had to overcome. So I decided to use restaurants because a lot of people like to eat out. They are popular. And I decided to use a hashtag to spread awareness because a lot of young people use social media. The challenge will be getting people to accept the idea of eating less, but saving money